materials, because once they get built up, they provide that much more defense for you. However, just they're so much harder to get naturally as you move through the map that Flo is finding Cammy there, and you can see immediately he's going to head over there because he's like, hey, I need those mats. I need those refreshers. When we talk about refresher,
shot and a heads-up play by Flo, he desperately needed that, as well as his ammo was pretty low too. At least 74 AR. That's not enough going into an in-game competitive Fortnite game. You definitely want to have a little bit more like Noah Riley here. Again, takes off Mr. Savage and now has the loot to show for it. The yacht coming in clutch with this loot. He's got this player down though with those tags, but the big shield going to be popped there. Now Noah has to be careful. He wants to go aggressive. His instinct is to push in with that crash pad and get the aggressive play, but that player back up to full HP. He's got to be careful. Shots go through the edit. Not going to connect on the shots there. Noah over the top. Shots come through. A 71 tag there for Noah. And now he's going in. Crash pad in. It doesn't matter though. The crash pad is actually going to send him away. He's got to keep the pressure up to keep this player from popping any shields. And he's got the player back and forth, up and down, up and down. He's got the crash pad. He's going in. Shots are going to come through. The player puts the stare over the top of his head. And another good tag there. Noah's not able to find him. Noah's not able to finish him off. This player continuously layer changing, going up and down in between the builds, and Hydro is just trying to run for their life.
Hydro trying to put as much distance as possible, and unfortunately going to go down there. Good job for Noah Riley on the chase. We talk about how important it is to resolve fights, particularly because you don't want that opponent burning those resources, because when you do take them down, they'll drop them there, and you want to get as much as possible. You can see Noah picking up all of the minis there. He's back up to 6. Good job. Still has 4 crash pads. And one thing you'll note in particular when you're looking at these mid-game fights and what you should be keeping an eye on. Anytime a player has crash pads, that will enable them to push into boxes. You've seen it in 2 different ways, both from the top down, where they throw it against one of those cones because it lets them fall in. And then a perfect example, thank you, Ross Orange, for showing it right there, winning the fight against Hardfind very closely with 6 HP. That's the horizontal crash pad, where you line yourself up on the corner of the walls, you throw it against that corner, and it'll end up landing right behind you, and it pushes you forward into the box, but it won't affect the other player. So it allows you to line up your shot ahead of time, and most times it'll also put you behind them, so they're not able to play defensively, as Orange trying to play defensively here, but Bafa just comes in and says, hey, you didn't have enough time to reset and get your shields up. I will take all that loot. Thank you very much.
And that's the dangers of taking a mid-game fight, is that if you take any damage, you're going to get third-party. Players are going to recognize that shield crack sound, and they're going to move in. But on the other hand, look at Lewick. He took that fight, got out, and now is on the move. But Carrot is setting up an ambush, and the shots coming through. Lewick has been cracked. Look at the box separation that he just did there from Carrot. Going to time to pass him, and he's the stare with the top is not his. He does get a nice layer change coming out and above, but he doesn't have enough time to pop the big shield. He's just looking to try to pop another mini, and he does get it off. And now he's looking for a shot. He needs to put the pressure back onto Carrot, because if not, then he's just going to keep running around, and Carrot's finally going to be able to get a shot on him. And Carrot decides, you know what? Not worth my time, not worth my materials, not worth my HP. I'm going to disengage.
I'm 50-50 on that. It felt like if Carrot had kind of kept pressing, he might have been able to pick up Letwick,
Alex,
look at Letwick, there are only 20 total builds coming out, but that also means if you are able to take him down, you're not going to necessarily get that much back. You'd only get the 35 total, and it's really not going to be that beneficial unless you're able to rotate cleanly off of it. Both have the crash pads, but now you can see fight going on here between Diablo and NXS Z.
¿Cómo está el cheto eso de meterse
a
los box de alguien con un crash pad?
We've seen had the capability of playing aggressively. He is above that strength threshold, so just trying to hunt this player and doing a good job keeping Zandy on the back foot. Does get the cone replaced, owns both.
Escalera ahí.
Zandy able to replace that stay there.
Calidad, aquí viendo esto
just
está.
gonna reset for a second, make sure he's still
Me
back
pasé.
up.
Buena onda, brother, si puedes compartir ahí. ¿Para cuándo la cámara? Uy, amigo. No sé, brother. No sé, no es como que me interese mucho comprarme una cámara para que me vean, pero... Y si voy a comprar cámaras, pero una handcam, porque no creo que vaya a comprar para otra cosa, pero...
Zandy was below, which means he takes that 25
damage.
Every damage he does for to that player, as long as they go down within a minute, he will still get credit for that elimination. He will still get the point, then he can go over.
Esos que mira son malos, vos le ganas a todos mis compis. Ah, no sé. Los FPS y si peor que esos medios son 0 de pimba.
it plays a factor into so many of these players.
Si no, olvídate.
Sometimes they forget about it because they're pumping, they're rolling.
No, sí, son muy buenos los
They got
mages.
their ammo, they got their builds, they're in
Lo que pasa es que, o sea, yo
and
también
like,
pienso lo mismo, que los mages se miran
malos,
malos, pero ya en una pelea ya 1v1 sí se cambian las cosas, vamos. Uy, amigo, está super wide. Solo un tiro le pego. Ese es un modo de juego. ¿Cuál? Donde estoy es el Party Royale. Pero ellos están jugando a la FNSS. Creo que son las finales, creo. O no sé. Pero donde estoy viendo, así man, es la Party Royale. Ahorita está como, ay, no sé cómo está, pero la portada es de la caballeros del pase de batalla y está el logo de la FNSS. Lo malo que no estoy viendo a nadie conocido, o sea, yo esperaba ver a, no sé, a Savage, Benji, Mongrel, amigo. ¿Qué snipazo? No sé, esperaba ver a gente conocida, pero igual, esos que no son conocidos, tampoco les quita el mérito de que están en las finales de FNS y son buenos, vamos.
For their snipes and hitting their shots. Well done from the game #1 winner, who's continuing to roll with the momentum here. Boxed up next to Arctic, passive over the side as we're transitioning now into that mid-game kind of territory. Players are starting to get
trabado para los que están abajo de la montaña. Les cae un... Uy, se me cae el control.
What an elimination. He needed it too. He only had 2 hunting rifles.
Puede caer una spam a los que están midground. Oh, logran.
Very heads up play by Flo is first
para guachar.
Taking down second place. That is, hey, that's pretty good for your mentality. Even if he goes down here,
para ver qué
competition, so I know Alex. I'm pretty secure there, but we're still pretty early on into the game. So you can't really do much with it.
And it's important to note when they stress during the top of show how every single interaction matters. Right there, Flo is eliminating his direct competition right now, the player who is closest to him, who's able to pressure up. That means if he's able to build up a lead now, it's going to be that much more substantial because effectively he's eliminated one of the players who can threaten him the most.
No salió el anterior comentario. ¿Cuál?
We saw him have an amazing run yesterday, pushing in. Right there, you can see the Dorito being taken down. That's such a good push. Fastroki was looking to set up a crash pad there with that in his box, but ADN dropped in and then occupied the space.
Compartí mi directo mejor. No, dale. Me avisas si te invito. Igual lo voy a dejar público. Eso público hecho.
And he desperately needed his match. Were not looking good. Still are not looking good as well. So he's gonna have to find another impact elimination.
Estas son las finales de Europa.
Again, match are not looking good. Now, there is a player's loot there in front of him that he more likely got the elim from. He's not actually prioritizing picking it up right now. It seems like he's just looking to build and then go for the loot. Mr. X is nearby. Benji's nearby as well. Hardest in an awkward spot. We've got Scram in this game here as well. Handy, passive, slick. A lot of players still alive. 61. We talk about Storm Surge. This is a threshold where it's 50. 11 players need to go down. Narda makes a heads-up play to get a box. And Crash is going to come through, but that's bad. Let's see if the shots come through. He does. Maestro going to go down the aggressive play. Not going to be rewarded. And Ardent will be rewarded for his passiveness.
Yeah, and you can see the reason why so many players are fighting right now, both that Storm Surge and trying to get priority. We talk about 4th zone. Look in the bottom right-hand corner. Everyone is looking to box up and stake their claim on as much real estate as possible for when that half-in, half-out reveals. You don't want to be sharing a spot next to somebody as you go to rotate. And they're looking to clear out the players nearby. As Ardent picks up Flois there, so 1 and 2 are down. That's going to open up the leaderboard. Tons of players will have an opportunity to charge up. Eyes are now on 10, and whether or not he can kind of extend his lead out there. As Ardent also picks up Lechi. Mongrel getting scout there in a brilliant job because he's now cleared out all the players on this. One before moving is pulling directly over to this cluster of players. So Tayson, Benji, Helix, Wyzip, Mr. X will all be over there sharing the half-in, half-out with Ardent. They all have priority on everyone else who's rotating into the zone. So they're going to be fighting among themselves to make sure they're safe and not going to get ambushed, and then swap over to what Tayson's doing now and looking to catch the players, burning their rotation, burning launch pads and crash pads, trying to get into this zone.
And this is very lucky for Tayson because, again, you stress the amount of builds in the inventory. He only had 54. that is not where you want to be for this end game. So he has to find an elimination to get to these moving zones effectively. He does have the 6 crash pads, but when you start to use those crash pads, you start wasting those builds as you box up, and he needs to find somebody. As shots come through, he's not going to be able to beam people out of the air just yet, as we do see Nebby unfortunately falling, but he did get that top 50 placement threshold, which is what a lot of people, I think this is Benji. I'm 97% sure Benji is right nearby. If Benji makes the wrong edit, he goes into a box that's not his. Tayson is going to go aggressive. You see the big shoulder is going to be popped. Edit's going to come through. No crash pad in. Shots coming through. Then Benji's going to go down. Tayson's
oh my
going to take
God.
him down.
You called it. He was looking for it, waiting for Benji. He heard him trying to set up and get some space, knew he was pressured around the side. The horizontal crash pad entrance puts him behind Benji, cleans it up with the tactical shotgun, and well done. And Hen, the 3rd place player on the leaderboard before the last game, going on the high ground right now, has priority position with Enos and Mongrel just below him. Also Floki on the same ground, but we're going to hop on over to the Become Legends player. He's been playing so well recently, cleaning up the Cash Cup on his birthday. Had a phenomenal performance yesterday to also guarantee him spot here, and he has priority on this next zone. What that means is he's the closest to where the safe zone has to go past. So as it funnels and everyone else rotates, they have to go past Hen. You do not get to pass Hen, and you notice he's built so much space around him, so he can't be shot at in return. All of these shots are completely safe, so anything he's able to convert on will turn into points for him here, as another placement point does take over. Now he's not shooting through that wall. That is just one of the graphical issues with the replay. He's picking up tags, and now he's just setting up a crash pad, going to use it to go on the rotation late, and he picked up a key elimination onto Wyzit there, as we have our top 35.
And it's such a key elimination because he gets Jules' glider gun, and now he's got free rotation everywhere. He could win this game based off that elimination. It was such an impact elimination. But he's being a little bit too greedy on that zone. He did get tagged up, but he's still good. Rotation coming in. We do see Safek going down, and rotation X Squeeze went down as well. So a lot of the big names are out of this game. But Han looking to keep his stream alive and take down one player who landed right on top of him. That was a very, very heads-up elimination onto Pablo, but he's not that healthy. He has those minis in his inventory, got 126 effective HP. He needs to find another one.
He needs to find the outside. He can't be in this cluster. It's really weird to take the grapple gun and then immediately go into the middle, because you don't really have the ability to utilize it, and that's what we're looking for, getting towards the outside of the zone so he has more options there. Anas, teammate up on the high ground there, but this is the solos competition, just playing for the same org. You have Gamers Origin, Deceptos there on the middle as we tick over top 25.
Bueno, ya viene, ¿qué onda, Mario? Bienvenido ahora.
Through the high ground.
Uy, qué bonito.
You can see Deceptos picks up Ardit there as top 20 ticks over. Another
estás,
point
Marito?
going through, and right as I say his name, Reason ends up going down. This is looking like a Become Legends top 15 right now, as they have 3 or 4 players still up. But Deceptos trying to find the space, finding a good job, targeting his way through, and making sure that he owns all of the builds on this level as we close in on top 15. Bad Sniper missing out on a key placement point, and Deceptos looking to try and find a pick on this Crash Pad player, doing a good job to deny the rotation, finds a tag, but not able to necessarily convert it. So many shots, but no elimination coming through, and he has to find that. That's such a key pickup. Inside the top 15 we go.
Uy, el 0 de pin. Oh my God, qué clapeada,
that snipe going down, but Hen is still up, picking up Orion as we get into our top 10.
Me alegra. Gracias, bro. Yo sé que andas más o menos.
You see it. Old builds are there as well. It is going to fall.
Estoy en WhatsApp XD.
Top 10 placement points being missed out by both of them. That's a huge boost as well.
Solo andas cansado por la U. Uy, 20, 70, 80, muerto. A pico, creo yo. Oh my God.
And thinking he doesn't have any floppers. He's looking to get in, and he does, but a shot comes through. Loki going to be the one to take him down. And now two rotations over Loki. The player right on top of him. He's got to be careful. Shots go through. Back in the zone goes Loki. Ticking down very, very low. Now inside his zone, he's good to go, but this is looking really, really rough. He doesn't have floppers. Mr. X is going to go down. Stacy going to be the one to do it. He's still trying to be popped there. And look at Anosh just
oh my God, el que tiene high,
all the way up top. He's just walking over old builds. I don't know how many builds he's got left, but he may be able to win this just solely based on the fact that it's going over old builds.
And the old builds giving him priority. That moving zone, we talked about it. It just randomly pulls a distance back away, which means you can continue your rotation. And on top of having the old builds, the saving grace has the mythic loadout as well. So this is so big for him as we move into the top 5. 4 players left, but Anas has complete control over this lobby. You can see Tayson as well in the middle. Scramguard and Snazy are going to round out your top 4. Who will finish it off? Will Anas continue the run of the catty corner loot, proving it out, or can somebody from the low ground shut him down as Tayson picks up Scramguard? So each elimination, each placement here, an additional point as Tayson and Snazy right there. But the shockwave launcher comes out right away and knocks him over the zone. And Anas does get tagged, is able to pop the flop in the zone and then gets the follow-up tag with 6 HP to spare. Become Legends Anas from the high ground. 4 eliminations in the victory royale, taking game number 2.
What he needed to pop, and he did do just that. The victory royale is going to be nice. I think may be able to move into first place after that game just on the number of points and the eliminations, but we're definitely going to need the analysts to break that one down, so we're going to send it right over to them here in a moment.
Thank you guys so much. Great cast here in game number 2 of Europe. Anas finding the victory royale there. Mad props to him. Now here's the thing though. Tayson, another big name we're used to seeing. We keep talking about the quality of players. This is someone who is coming in strong. Ends that game in 5 eliminations. Had he picked up that VR, that 4-point swing would have actually moved him higher up the leaderboard. And we'll see that as we take a look at the standings and look at who is currently holding down that number 1 spot.
Usually who ends up winning the game is always at first. That is the same story here right now. BL and Nas all the way up top. Victory Royale, 7 elims, 28 points. But what happened in that game was a bunch of eliminations from top players, changing the standings from 2nd all the way to 10th.
BL hand in 2nd there. Somebody definitely to keep an eye on because he placed 4th in the first game. Not necessarily the biggest boost in points this game. 2nd place will boost him way up, but he could have done more. Reason still stays around the 9th place mark, but still improves at least in this game.
On over Letwick, Scramguard, Bad Sniper, Kinzel, Mongrel, Carrot. I mean, look at all these names. Thomas H.D., Friends Fishy. There's so
Benji Fishy lo clapearon, se la metieron al cubo con un crash pad y lo mandaron al lobby.
Every single person could walk away the victor.
Benji Fishy aquí quedó, mira.
This tight, and we still have 4 games left to go. Anything could still happen. There's all these guys at the top making these power moves right now.
You're saying look at the names, I'm looking at the points.
Aquí está, ahí está Benji Fishy, ven, el número 24.
Become Legend Slicks is here, 2 Twains are deep. Like, all these guys are playing so well, but they're playing well while others are too, and no one can really break away. Benji, who we're used to seeing in the top 10, at 24th, and from what I'm seeing, he's having good games still. It's not enough, though, for that number 1 spot.
It's kind of another kind of slow start for Benji, which I think some people are maybe starting to get a little used to. He always rises at the top, but that might be a sign that it's back to, you know, the old Benji Grand Finals, the one who does get good performances and is in the top 10, top 15. Very solid out of 100 players, but not quite that win that he's looking for.
Together, guys, we got to talk about it. More of these powerful plays coming out of these impact players, making what they need to happen, really manifesting this win right here, right now.
Yeah, Grand Finals is all about power, and it comes in many different forms. We're starting off with how power struggles on early games of spawn fights.
Mr. Savage.
Mr. Savage, they had a big battle down. Noah showed that he was more powerful.
And it's all because Benji scares Noah into going somewhere else, but
y el pibe ni siquiera había caído. Oh my god.
Because of it. Benji, though,
traduce lo que dicen, bro, no es inglés. Ah, no, yo tampoco lo atacan. O sea, entiendo alguna que otra cosa, pero tampoco es como que te digan entiendo la música al 100. Lo que me importa es ver cómo juegan, babos, tal vez aprendo algo.
At fighting in the early and mid game, and Benji is not scared whatsoever.
Siempre.
Yeah, power vacuum basically here over at Slurpy Swamp, and Benji gets in the box with style, breaks through, hits a big shot, and shows his power afterwards.
And is that show of power, is that show of confidence something that we're used to seeing out of Benji? I say yes, but it might be overconfidence as he pushes a fight against one of the best players in the world. Now we're switching over to Flois, and for him, it's a shift.
Yeah, for him, he was holding power in game number 1, continuously dropping down Froggy, who was in second place on the leaderboards at the time, but holding power sometimes comes with a cost. He loses it over to Advise, and we see one of our new players who are in that second place slot.
Donde mataron a Mr. Savage cuando se le metió el cubo con un crash pad. Una de esas cosas.
Follows it up with a pretty decent game number 2, a 10th place for him, but a couple of elims to boot. And that will put him where he needs to be if he wants to grab that crown at the end of the day, the ultimate sign of power. He falls in 11th, but that's at least solid enough.
Yeah, and this is where power starts for a lot of players in this game. It was Anas who ends up winning, who had Caddy Corner and the Mythic Loot as well. The Shockwave Launcher, hits charge shotgun too, and he just made power become his tool in this endgame. He became legend incarnate, literally just personifying the organization he's on, using this entire endgame as a playground, bouncing people up, shooting them down.
Anas
so dynamic in this. We saw Flowis with the hunting rifle. We saw him with the charge shotgun last time, but for me, it was Anas's gameplay, his creativity, that really separated him from the pack and showed us his use of power.
And Anas, that's kind of what we were talking about Caddy Corner last time. We saw Thomas there for a brief moment, but this time it goes down. Kit spawns down at the gas station, and that's where Anas is lurking. He had a good game.
Mira, están diciendo ahorita, dijeron que sos gay.
If you want to become a legend at the end of the day, if you want to solidify yourselves among the great, immortalize yourself, you need to have games like that. And Anas and Hen, both at the top of the leaderboards, org mates, and they're standing strong.
Both of these guys are definitely looking to break away. I mean, Anas is ahead of the game, 28 points, but Shy, is that going to hold?
Didn't hold in game number 1 with Flowis. I feel like when Anas gets that top slot, he holds it completely, especially at Caddy Corner. So I feel like, yes, that's my call.
I like it. Quick and good size. So that being said, guys, let's throw it into game number 3 here of the FNCS Grand Finals. Caster,
oh my God, what the fuck?
Get into the action.
Creo que desde aquí se mira bien, ¿ve?
Insightful as always, and everyone is looking to become a legend, but right now to become legend players occupying first and second. And if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Sundown, joined here by the fantastic, as always, play styling. This is match number 3, the halfway point of the
Soy único, crack.
Solos Grand Final. If you're watching Party Royale and you just dropped in, hit one of those telephone booths, the changing stations.
La marca en todo el mapa,
head on over to the main stage, catch the action out.
Hasta donde no hay loot cae la bala, qué pedo.
And if you notice, the yacht only has 1 player on it, so I'm interested to see who that player is. Is it Savage? Is it Noah Riley, who came out on top? And of course, who's going to come out of Caddy Corner on top? That is always a question in all of these players' minds.
Right now you can see cutting over the top of the lake, but switching over to Anas, who's landing over towards the weather station side.
Ese pibe haciendo la farmeación.
Figure out if he's going to be able to go through, pick up any amount of that loot, drop down in this
Día Anas. Hacemos el que ganó la partida entera.
Doesn't look like he's actually going to have a contestation in, but you can see also a number of players often over just to the southwest of him. So right now, first shot coming out, we talked about those early hunting rifle tags, but not quite going to find it again. Anas, game number 2 winner, current first place right now.
And he's in a very good spot to keep that first place, but Hin right behind him. You've got to keep our eye on that elimination feed for that come up as well. If Hin only 3 points behind is able to make a play to start to make the
Mira, yo juego su pendeja madre,
going to get some nice shots there. The Doug Splashes, though, are going to get that player up. The nice edit is going to drop the player down. The edit around as well. He's got him boxed up, but the fish is going to escape as a deal. Looking to crash pad on in, using the jump there. He's actually not going to do it. He's going to take the wall and the cone up top. And that was so smart to outplay Advise there.
Well done picking up Advise there. We talked about kind of the different types of crash pads and then the variations you're able to use. Him jumping up prevented him from falling in. So then when Advise went to exit the situation, got picked up, and now over to Slurpy Swamp. We watched this fight happen last time. Benji aggressively pushed Kiriachi, saying, no splitting going on here. This is my side. But Kiriachi now looking to be the predator instead of the prey and closing in on Benji as he's hitting these slurp barrels. So wants to kind of resolve this beforehand. And now, box to box, how do two of the best players in the world close out this box fight? Do they look to take each other on, or are they just kind of trying to disengage the situation? Right now,
perfectly got up and is out. I also want to point out 35 of the current players also competed in the FNCS Invitational Finals. So they've been here before. They've been in this grand finals. They know what to do, especially these two players on the screen right now. Is Kiriachi is going to take some damage there from Benji, who is keeping that pressure up with that rare tactical shotgun, and now looking to find a creative way inside. Kiriachi actually went up and around the shots going through, exchanging high ground and exchanging shots. Benji takes a nice tag there on the Kiriachi. Still has yet to take any damage himself. Kiriachi is still pushing. This is exactly what we expect from him. And Benji baiting him to drop down. Kiriachi was ready. The back and forth going in favor of Benji right now. Kiriachi keeping the pressure up. Benji going to get tagged up a lot there because he couldn't build the floor. He's trying to pickaxe for that code as the edits come through. Benji going through old builds. This is really good, but once you reset that metal, it is very, very weak and it's easy to hit. Please put some distance between him, Kiriachi, and Dual Media Snipe.
I was supposed to say Dual Media Snipe. Hearing the action going on, wants to take a peek inside, but he very well knows who's there. I'm not sure you want to jump on into that pond. Don't want to get boxed like a fish between those two. It's more like getting boxed between two sharks. A rock in a hard place. You pick which one and who's who, because Benji, right now, just again, looks like he's done enough to fend off Kiriachi. You say, how long are we going to do this for? How long are we going to burn mats?
Tiene muy poco más, Benji.
And force each other back, because both of these players are good enough to hold the other off, or at least make them pay for it if you don't get that initial ambush off of the start, which is why you now see Kiriachi kind of backing up a little bit, making sure he gets some mats before heading back in towards Benji again, looking to potentially respark this.
And I'm not surprised from Kiriachi. He is very, very aggressive, but we'll have to see if that turns out in any of their favors. As Seventor now being aggressive onto Diablo. Diablo's going to get the initial shots there, and now Seventor can disengage if they want to, but on the edge of zone, really hard to disengage because you're trying to run away, then you're just going to get shot in the back, and it's just unfortunate there. So box to box, diagonal to diagonal, Diablo and Seventor looking to do a little peanut butter edit, looking to get that jump shot there. Seventor looking to get any sort of wall take back, and he does. Diablo ready for it. The shot comes through, the quick reset there. Going to get the tag in favor of Seventor, but still not as much HP there as Diablo. His shots are still coming through. He does pop a mini. Continued back and forth over these peanut butter edits. That's that triangle edit that you see as he goes in. He goes aggressive with that crash pad. But Diablo was ready for it. Did you see how many edits he had? How many space he had in between him and Seventor? He was predicting that perfectly. But Seventor was ready for the edit. He's ready for Diablo popping up. And he said, you know what? I'll bait the heal out, but I'm going to get that elimination.
Really good job from Seventor there, baiting Diablo into something that he had owned and then committed him to the fight, caught him with the builds out, and then following up with the tactical shotgun. And it's really fruitful to resolve that fight because there was a player boxed up right on the edge of zone who would have been able to range down. And again, if you are just joining that, there's the format on the right-hand side. You can see first round of placement points coming through, top 75, next one at top 50. Then it's every 10 players to fall until we reach
otra vez. Shit, justo cuando estaban peleando.
3. So definitely want to be making those end games, but also 1 point per each elimination. Carrot will pick up Phoenix there. We'll also get a point.
Se me ha llevado un montón de floppers.
And he may have taken coolest out of his name, but right now he's the coolest of the authority, picking that elimination up. He's been very, very good. He actually, I believe, one of the players that came through the open track of the FNCS Invitational.
Que veo con esa imagen, tiene una hoja dorada, P90, Scar morada y táctica, y se le prefiere llevar la Scar morada que la hoja morada llevando P90.
Dominant performance from Carrot. He's also got the zone there as well. He's already building up and refarming. In Misty Meadows, however, Ardent looking to set up an ambush like we've talked about, hiding in this little upgrade room.
¿Quién se unió?
Soy yo.
Ah, qué pedo, ¿qué haces con la gana del demo?
Que le va a subir el pase.
Ay, qué asco. Está acá mi peso. A su casa. Oh my god, ese magia va chetadísimo.
Sometimes you set the trap and the bait, but turns out you are the bait and you don't reel in what you want. As we talked about, he was looking for a slurp fish and instead pulled one of the loot sharks there, Grip, turning it around after a rough game number 2.
Se pueden meter,
pretty much basically off drop. Ardit trying to spring a little bit of an ambush there, but instead going down. So good job on Griffer. We saw also had a very impressive run in order to make the qualifier here, but now on board with the 11's Tayson, a player who we saw be super successful in the heats yesterday. Hasn't necessarily really converted it today. We've consistently seen him towards the top. He was actually 7th coming in, so not doing too bad today, but probably also a little bit outside in terms of the placement that he would be wanting, averaging a top 27 placement and 5 elims total across the 2 games.
¿Te gusta esa skin de Demas? ¿Te gusta esa skin? No, la que lleva el mago, el de la FNS.
Muy common AR is not going to net you a lot of elimination. He's going to have to find a way to upgrade that, whether that be through an impact elimination or finding one naturally. Because it seems like this is the open side of zone, and that meaning there's not that many people all around him. He's got a little space to work with there. One who doesn't have that much space is there's a lot of players nearby. Bad sniper. He does have 15 points, a decent first couple of games, but not where he wants to be. There is a player nearby. He's got to be careful with the sniper. And if you don't have it, he's going to turn the beams back onto him, but not going to hit it. He's only 22 above Storm Surge, and that is nowhere near safe. As you see, it's already ticking down to 19.
Yeah, and that Storm Surge threshold on the right side of your screen there. The number for zone number 3 is 70, so currently 17 players have to go down. Bad Sniper will be starting to look for tags here, but also doesn't necessarily want to overbuild himself too much, because he doesn't have a ton of materials and he is out in the open. So if he has a lot of players who opt to...
¿Pero esos son nacionales o son opens?
Creo que son finales. And now only 4 above. You talked about how kind of that threshold keeps on ticking, so he's trying to trade some tags out, get himself above. We have Ovation.
Estoy viendo las finales de la FNSS.
Closing in on him as well.
Johnny.
Uy,
qué buena.
Lo craqueó rico, güey.
La sola lo mete en la boca y lo fácil caga.
And you can tell he's not happy with it. He's already looking to move into zone and set up for another couple of attacks. The 62 above just turned to 60 above, and it's going to turn to 50.
¿No te puedes meter, Alex?
You're going to start trickling down that leaderboard as everybody near you takes eliminations. But Bad Sniper maybe looking to set up an ambush here on the Keswick. Maybe a snipe nearby Sky there as well.
¿Y quién va ganando? Ahorita solo vi una partida donde ganó un tal... Uy, no me acuerdo cómo se llama. Pero no creo que todavía no han sido el número 1.
El video del caballo. No sé quién se inventa eso. Ya está en el cine.
Lo malo que no enseñaron si mataron o no a Benji Fish.
Throwing the AR bullets over both for Storm Surge tags, but you might get a little bit of that RNG on your side and pick up the elimination. Somebody else did most of the hunting rifle shot coming through, but he'll be the benefactor there as Kinzel now is going to put some pressure here onto Flopper Michael. Again, a number of players still under that Storm Surge tag, so you can expect the passive players of Storm Surge will impact the players who have done the least amount of damage to opponents. But Flopper Michael
¿Cuánto le metió?
Was under that pressure as 4 more players will need to go down before it turns off controller double.
¿Será que va igual lo que estamos viendo? ¿O
sí,
va adelantado?
sí.
Also under pressure here. He was the player who had the crash play yesterday. Can he set up another one here and end up converting? That's landing directly on top of the player and catching him over on the side. Sven, what are you doing?
Pues es que mira esos magis como pegan 90 en un tiro, nosotros 15 por tiro,
further out towards the lead. Don't forget he was in first place with 28 points, now sitting on 30, courtesy of the elimination.
Dicen que la táctica quita más en el torso que en la cabeza.
¿Qué clase de juego con
es como un lag que tiene el stream de la F.
¿Eso lo juegan desde su casa o sí va, huevo? No, es que se me fue lo de COVID ahorita.
You know, in these last couple months has been really great to see him come in to someone who could become a legend, especially after being picked up by that organization. With this disengage, though,
¿Qué hacía?
a lot. He's able to
sí, aquí está.
some of this metal as well if he wanted to hit that fence there. Refarm
El
a lot of this
tocine.
wood as well. Benji picking up an elimination is good for him. But Anas, he was in a good spot. Now he's getting pinched by these players.
And I believe he also had a pretty solid performance at DreamHack Anaheim, flying out to that land and making it to the grand final there, but now hopping aboard another player who was there. Bad Sniper, though, under pressure from Atlantis' Lecce. Trying to get in the box. Bad Sniper disengaging. Does have plenty of shields and floppers if he can make the space, however. Now in the zone, and that's a 2-tick zone that as soon as it passes over and it closes, it's going to go to a 5-tick zone. So Bad Sniper is going to have a lot of pressure here, having the chug splashes and having the floppers compared to Lecce. Don't know his loadout, but doubt he has that. And going to
no vi la jugada de QT.
Se te bugueó el cerebro.
And that's always unfortunate.
Ese muere fijo. Ese muere.
Ahí está el Anas. Anas.
64 personas en ley.
Pero la zona está muy abierta, no está tan cerrada. Ese más se muere.
Tiene un fishy,
se lo cargo.
Andy's got that flopper. He's going to be able to outlive Anas here unless Anas can play, but no. Anas going down, and that's number one.
Dices que a mí se me lagueaba, ¿sabes?
Sí, igual ahorita se trabó.
Taking out there the pressure from the storm, the 5-tick zone. Andy eating all the
cabbages.
¿Qué hace este kilo?
Comiendo verdura.
Also has the floppers and the bandages as well. So
váyanse a jugar normal, aquí no es para jugar.
I'm actually going to argue that he should have used the bandages there and allowed the cabbages to tick himself over the top, but instead going to pop that flopper, going to limit some of his mid-game and later game options there.
Esa neblina no sé por qué la miro muy otaku.
¿Quién?
¿Esa neblina?
La verdad la siento más otaku la original, vamos.
Sí, la original, pues.
La que vos tenés.
Pero esta es más playera.
He has no crash pads and only one
barras.
He's going to have to get creative with it, whether it be third.
Barras.
We did see Scram fall. Respawn just going to hop in, and that's going to be PCH. Not expecting it. You have to reset those walls. You cannot afford to make those mistakes right now.
This is Grand Finals in Europe, the most played in region, arguably the most aggressive and most talented region as well. If you are able to convert on elimination, please do everything
Pues Milagros,
Hopkins
no gana esto.
It's all about covering yourself up.
No clasifica para esto.
¿Quién?
Hopkins.
No creo que ni lo jugó en México, sí. Creo que solo juega torneos de aquí de Guate, no sé. Porque tampoco he visto que el magia ponga aunque sean sus historias de jugando la Daily Cash, de tríos, o la FNCS en stream, cosas así, vamos.
Priority positioning is going to be towards the outside. We're going to be keeping an eye on who ends up going.
Yo creo que si el magia jugara eso, el magia lo topea.
Sí. Pero se huequea.
¿Tú sabes por qué no jugara? Mr. Savage. Sí, Mr. Savage. ¿Esa skin de qué? Yo solo sé que es exclusiva, pero no sé de dónde salió.
Esa la tiene el Juanito.
La tiene Juanito. Qué buena, dice vos dos kills. Savage. Yo creo que él es el mejor del mundo actualmente.
Savage.
Sí, man. O Benji,
bueno, no se ha visto muy bien Bao, si él o otras personas. Como no se ha hecho tampoco Warcraft, pues.
Y eso también va. Y guacho no tiene piso, es hacker.
Y es que ellos llevan indie, no se puede ver nada.
Los que están expectando tienen wall hacks. Y ellos no los banean.
Mira, y los FPS se me hubieran bajado a
1.
A 2.
A 2. Nada, fíjate que ni tanto, son 40.
Fíjate, Jair también saben de eso. O sea, yo me pongo a jugar y me pongo a ver los FPS y están con 40 estables y es como, tampoco es como tanto, vamos.
Bueno, te ha tocado si le en arena, vos 40 personas, vos, y no se me baja tanto.
Sí, mo. Donde sí se me bajó, estamos jugando las peleas de Pacho.
Ah, sí, vos, sí.
Ahí sí se me están bajando bien, cabrón.
Solo miraba moviéndose aquí vos todos Minecraft.
Sí, ah, se está.
He also does not have priority on rotation as it's pulling away from him. More crash as his inventory will allow him to rotate, but not as effectively some of these other players. And he set this.
Ah, se destruyó cuando me apagan, ¿sabes qué onda? Mira. Ah, no, ya te doy una, Tenés.
Se sentaba en él.
No tenés el emote de la silla, ¿eh?
Solo comento la
burning utility, using all their builds, just trying to get to that next safe zone and avoid fire from their opponents. But you also have to watch out for those sharks and those aggressive players. The playmakers.
Uy, amigo, esa rotación con Crashpad, qué buena.
Driving the action as we're on board here. The dual media snipe currently below the
threat. Tomar cafecito, güey. Tomar cafecito. Hacelo, creo que hasta la tiene.
Café en taza de caldo.
De chocolate.
Taza de caldo.
La güey. No lo tiene. Pero estamos en mediodía, no es hora para tomar café. Hacete para allá. Rifle as well, 2 eliminations, 79 builds. We'll see if he's going to be able to get any more.
Septos is also still up. We saw him there on the wide. That was the player who was in front. Should be able to push up.
Shit.
Every 5 players will be a placement point. Reason gets ticked over by Frenzy Fishy. Orange takes out Cartoon. Closing in on top 20. That's another point going over. As now Rifle looking to add his name.
Me dio lag mental o se tragó esa onda.
Pushing their way up the leaderboard. But Septos picks up One Loss and Savage. Picks up Andy. So still a who's who of top players.
Uy, qué buena.
Vos en esa cuenta tenés la espía.
Rifle ends Mr. X's run.
La
ya lo busqué uno.
Apuntame.
The question is, who's on the high ground and is there caddy loot? And Thomas HD with that mythic shockwave launcher. Can we make it? 3 out of 3 Rifle though. Bottom right hand corner of your screen. Dual media snipe. Top right hand. 5 elims for snipe. 3 for Rifle. Thomas on the high ground and the wide on your left.
Que parece que en mi cámara parece que el de abajo a la derecha es el tema porque sale el nombre arriba.
Yo así vos no sé por qué, pero me salía con tu nombre. Y por un momento mi mente se engañó.
Digo yo, ir al tema es que pro.
No te joder.
We're going up a mountain. Keen needs to get up. Otis, Sky, very low HP. Sky's out of builds as well. He's more likely to get over in the zone as well as Keen. Rifle. Very, very healthy. Crash pad up for high ground. Thomas HD gonna take it for now. Dual media snipe. Don't be impressive. He's going for it. He does not secure it. Thomas HD in zone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 personas.
Rifle with the RPG trying to throw it down. Shots coming up through. Chaos. Kane gonna go down. Sky gonna be the one to do it. So he stayed on through the mountain. The HP wasn't enough. Snipe with 6 eliminations. Player right on the edge of his box. He's gonna take down Sky. And now Snipe versus Rifle. There's RPG's gonna go through. You may have get shockwave launcher, but I've got a shotgun for you, says Rifle.
Lo tira zona, la hizo.
Ahí tiene para tirarlo toda la 20.
Sí.
Pendejo. No, se la dio.
Que lo tire.
Qué boludo,
pero
está
es como
gastando
si
el
son un
rocket.
equipo, va. Ya se tiene también el BL.
Ah, de verdad va. ¿Y quién es el que está ahí? El Anna, ¿no? ¿Cómo era?
Bueno.
El otro era...
Bueno, dos personas de BL ganando la FNC. Recracks los pibes.
No los conozco, babos, pero bueno.
No has conocido el equipo.
Nadie lo conoce, nadie. Solo
Pero igual, babos, son retracks los pibes. Terreno no deja ver, vos.
Cállate, tomate.
3 games down, 3 games left. Zeke, Bala,
No,
Shio,
no, lo tiras.
let us know what's going on, because this is
son
so
majes,
tense
boys.
at the top. This is
Les gusta el
absurd.
pipi.
It is absolutely tense at the top. I mean, EU
Sí,
is
sí,
firing
sí,
on
sí.
all cylinders today, and it is an all-out
Son como los
battle.
casters oficiales
Acercarte,
de
Johnny,
Fortnite.
tenés.
Now we know enough.
Da risa, tenés.
No, amigo, le estoy traspasando la cabeza
How many
al
points
en
was he
medio.
racked up in that last game, and is he still holding that number 1 spot?
I think it's going to be a dead heat at the top. I mean,
Le voy a destrozar la cara.
neck for so many different people.
Es curva la
because
tele,
it's
mira.
kind of bounce all around. Everybody
¿Quién va primero?
¿Quién va primero?
Oh,
in
Deceptos.
this race.
Bueno, esta es la de la premisa, es como que el total.
No, he doesn't.
Mira, el
Not at
Anas
all.
va
Flores
tercero.
up there. He kind of had that first moment, that
Mira
game
otro
one win.
BL Han,
Mira los
BL
BL, los
Rifla.
BL,
It's kind of in
segundo.
order there, but all the
Tercero y
players who
cuarto.
won the
Yo no veo a
game
Mongrel y a Benji.
are literally tied
Van mal los
at
pibes.
points. It's all about elims. There's even a further tie for an Austin Rifle.
Yeah, things are going so fast, even past that. From 6th to 10th, Rezon is still holding on to his spot.
Ese negro,
Who was
güey.
second is now in 9th.
Qué feo,
Thomas
por
HP,
último.
Letwick, these legend status names are just doing everything they can. It is not enough to keep up with the top 5.
Ahí está Mongrel.
Ahí está Mongrel.
Belongs in that top
Benji
three.
Fish.
¿Dónde está Mongrel?
Right
Ahora a
now,
ver.
first game.
En el tercer lugar de
Second game, 73rd
Benji
place.
Fish
Now
está en
we're
otra tabla.
eliminations.
Mira, hay otro BL,
We
güey.
need to see
BL
who want that
Sweets.
number 1 spot.
And there are swings happening. There might not all be seen because you can see it. Badil in 19th place, he just had a very significant game. Look at the elims for him. He's actually tied up with those players up at the top of the leaderboards in terms of
Sí,
elims. He just
Benji.
needs to convert on some of these
No está
other
Benji, güey.
games to make it
Benji
really
bajó y Savage.
Yeah, everyone past the top 10 are still hungry, and if they can't
Ahí va
make these
Mr.
end
Savage
games,
arriba,
it's not
guacho.
just Elon for everyone. Carrot, Squeeze, AR Batho, they're past 5. They're fighting in that mid game, in the early game, doing whatever they can to get points and stay relevant after game 3 in this competition.
Guys, we are off to the races. We are halfway through this sprint, and we can see the finish
Ah, es
line
que se me
there.
había-
The question is, who crossed first?
The blocks are off. The starting blocks
Tienes que
are
ver que le hacían bullying de
completely
chico.
off. These guys are off to the races, like we said. And we're kind of trying to see who's going to catch up. When we get to the finish line, we're basically halfway there. And at this point, just trying to extend the lead until we get towards those final
Nah,
games.
esa magia no se alcanza de tirar tomates. ¿No?
You gotta
Y ese solo McDonald's ya.
end game to see if the leaderboard guys who are coming up on top to start with are now not being able to hold on to the first place slot, and it's about first place.
Man, there's only one active champions to go around. I mean, there's a
¿Quién
lot
es
of
ese
stuff
José?
that
Más
you mentioned
José,
about
no,
that we
sí,
didn't
no.
miss out of
No
this
fue el que
last
casteó
game.
la World
Check it
Cup.
out for us, man.
Sí, va.
We do. There are so many things for these guys doing. It's kind of a freestyle on some.
El resumen de la partida.
Snipe for him. Long range charge shotgun shots on players like Bad Sniper who started the
Ah,
day
está
off
jugando
so
Jesús.
strong,
Sí,
but
no.
Snipe will start to
Popo.
rise. And there's
Hola.
another one. He's just looking through these small peak boxes, just the space in the end game to build up the box and get more of these. Every time you look out,
Ahí
there's
está
so
Mr.
many
Vicente.
people fighting
Oh,
to try and
Negro,
stay
negro,
alive.
negro.
Travestis
negro.
con...
Yeah, you mentioned the deal who was very much
Hey.
alive in that last game, getting a record
llama,
out of 5 eliminations
ver
so
al
far in this run.
rey.
Va de al rey.
That, still looking for more from
R mujer
everyone
esa.
who was in
Uy, ahí
this
está
foot race.
Jesús, ve.
It was intense. They wanted to
Ala,
have a leg in the
mataste a-
competition.
And
Oh,
we said
tienes
it.
8 puntos,
Things that
no,
were
está
missed,
re bajo,
Seven
güey.
Tor goes off on a spree, back
te
to
dejo
back
ver.
to back
Nadie
elims,
siete
and he
Tor.
does it so
Seven
well.
Tor.
There's so many people here in his lane, but for most of them, it's a false start in this end game.
Yeah, I was thinking beside that
Chino.
score so much.
Mató un face. Ah, él mató
Ahí
a
mató al
face.
Face Mongrel.
Walls after that, got into boxes himself. If he couldn't get things from range,
Oye, yo de Face a la Mongrel miro topeando.
on players like Mr.
Sí.
Savage, moved past
Ya
that
hay
though,
nadie.
and still played a phenomenal game, ending somewhere near
Vos
top
el...
De ahí ni buga hasta ahí.
Man, el Soy debería jugar competitivo. Images Creative Warrior.
Él mató uno de Warriors.
Yeah, it was a rough run for Rifle here. Just look at all the things he had to overcome. Box to box while getting third party, still got the elimination down, got to hold down the wall, and the coolest.
Pero sabes que es bonito cuando sabes que tenés la kill fija. Cuando te metes el culto es más satisfactorio.
Es como de aparte que te humillo, tengo mejor pin que vos.
No tenés un coso en la cara.
Ah, me dieron un 10. Mira, pues el de medio le vamos a decir Don McDonald, ¿va?
¿Eh?
El en medio le vamos a decir Don McDonald.
That's all it takes sometimes.
¿Por
Some
qué?
like to say it best. Some days you just have to make sure you can hit your shot better than someone else. And for Rifle, that's what we're seeing. He's like, hey,
no, ese reactor, el de ahí, el de la izquierda, el Secumas Prime.
Era un transformer.
Ese es cantante, el de la derecha, ya ves, el de rojo es cantante.
El vaya TW. Ah, mira, de Warriors XD.
¿Quién?
Tenía el TW, el de rojo. Ahora, volvemos en 5 minutos, vos.
Ah, no, me da tiempo para jugar.
Me da tiempo para ganar la FNS.
Hola.
No sé cómo se llama.
Hola.
Ah, que se puede hacer zoom, guacho.
Sí, mo, con el L. Los hombros los tenía re para atrás. Déjeme echar algo por ahí abajo.
Mira.
Le pateaba las patas.
Tengo tomates. Perro. Mira la otra tomate. Ah, quítate dos.
Déjeme hacer tijeras.
Yo no tengo ese.
Ahora le huele un poco.
Haz el de la gallina.
De la temporada 10. 9 creo yo que es.
Con razón no lo tengo.
Perfect time.
Chájalo.
Espérate. Ah, me pasé.
Sí.
Ah, mira los tres.
No, échale.
Me seguía. Tengo tomate.
Así no lo tengo.
Okay, yo sí, mira. Mira.
¿Cobasios?
Tomate.
Uy, se baile, guacho.
Oh.
Quítate.
Hola. Perfect timing.
Sí. Y aquí también hicieron perfect timing.
Ah, no.
No. Le estoy partiendo la cabeza, me hace para acá. Ojo.
Y paramos al mismo tiempo, güey. Puro timing.
Usted vaya así.
No tiene ni skin.
La C90.
La C90, la C90.
C90.
Cojo Naruto.
Me lleva atrás, porfa.
No cabo.
Rico, Kawaski.
Kawaski Batama.
Bueno, usted no tome café.
Kawaski.
Caldo de culo.
No logramos.
Tu caquic, venga, deme un poco de caquic.
Volvió.
Gordo.
Porro. Tómela en el ojo.
Malo.
Tome la hamburguesa,
Por gordo. Se la retragó, amigo. Mira, se la traga. Se la retragó. Mira cuando habla, mira. Mira. No. Va a empezar la partida. What?
Se mira muy poquito, digo yo. Es que está avanzada la señal.
Sí, pendejo.
¿Cómo ver los nombres?
Quiero ver tus ojos.
The third, of course, it all breaks down based on tiebreakers, but our victory royale winners are in second, third, and fourth.
Un manco ahí, ve.
Is in first with no victory royales. We're
Thomas XD.
Was able to get Shockwave on.
Ya viste, estoy ahí, ve. Malo.
Ay.
Go aggressive in the mid game, though. However, is the question.
And that's what he's looking for right now.
Craquearon mi skin.
How valuable that mythic loot is coming out of Caddy.
Yo que él pongo el pad y me voy a Pekín.
Lo van a deletear.
Still have to execute on the rotation because while it is super valuable, everyone and their mother and their grandmother and probably their
Que haga un low pad.
and that one person you talked to in third grade the one time.
Porque Pat no, más sí, lo van a deletear.
All want this mythic loot. It is
Más el
so
pendejo que le está disparando. Mira, pues, ¿qué te dije? Yo ahorita le voy a meter sus 5 disparos más.
Es como si hablaras.
Ese maje lleva la mítica.
Sí, ese lleva las dos. Se la rearrifó. ¿Qué hace? Mira, pues, le metieron otro.
Ve, les mandé solicitud a estas majes y me las aceptaron.
Hola.
Getting tagged up in this early portion of the game is hard for you and for your loot because you have to invest time, you have to invest match and those shields to use it there. As you see Kiriachi going to fall there in the feed. Thomas has to be careful about going for shots like that. Standing still is never okay in Fortnite because it will always get you.
Por acá creo que habían motos, ¿no?
And Thomas HD knows all about that, known for being one of the best and most accurate players in Europe, particularly with those punching rifles and sniper rifles, being able to punish the players looking to throw those shots in there and to rack up damage for Storm Surge. That's what we talk about when it's
me puedo cambiar de skin.
But now we're going to take a look at a quick little
Te puedes cambiar de skin.
Sí.
¿Dónde?
Hola, señores, ya vine.
Toma, yo me quiero cambiar la skin,
No.
¡Los Gil!
¿Dónde se puede agarrar?
No, eso no, guacho. No, guacho. Esa.
Va a poner la bombardera. Ahí está.
El pico le va bien a todo. 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 La estrellita. Ah, la estrellita dije. Ahí está. Vámonos a ver la FN si es pues.
Le pegaba uno.
Amigo, me le reenterró.
La reenterró en el anillo.
Hola, señor. Espérame, llevo crash pad. Mira ese de ahí arriba. Vení, mira. Mira.
¿Qué hace ahí?
Lo tiro. Bueno, subimos con él.
Voy a tirarlo.
Subamos con él.
Va.
Y lo tiré.
No, gilipollas.
No, que Gilson, ahí había una cama, pues no salí.
They say, you know what, if you're going to catch me, you need to go just as aggressive as I am, if not better. Santos is looking for a snipe, almost hits it, and he barely even saw that player. Would have been one to definitely put in the montage and the highlight reel. He's got to be careful. There's a player nearby, and he needed those tags because he is below Storm Surge.
24 below, 27 below, so it's going to continue to drop. You can see 77 players left. Once the storm does close in, that storm surge will come into play. Don't forget that is 25 damage every 10 seconds, and with only the 3 minis, that's very rapidly going to pick through, but he should have an opportunity here. There's multiple players rotating in front of him. Still 5 below after that 32 tag, so not quite enough, but might have a nice little ambush opportunity, especially with those 3 crash pads here. However, he needs to be careful as there's 2 players here. And I think one of the players has to be below Storm Surge because they're in the zone and still pressing really aggressively.
And a nice heads-up tag. Tag for that Storm Surge. He's hopping the box. He's down. I don't want to wait anymore. I want that tag. And with that elimination, he secures himself a placement point as well as the elim point going into that top 75 place.
Hey, what?
Huge impact elimination there. We talk about tags, which is when you're just trying to land shots for some damage. Ends up being 2 points to the puts him well above the Storm Surge threshold, so their number 1 place not going to be threatened by that. Going to get a relatively easy mid-game after getting the resources from that elimination, but now on board with Boffle here, slightly off of the top 15.
¿Dónde consiguen los tomates?
More than capable of picking himself
La verdulería.
above that Storm Surge threshold. Now,
Uy, amigo.
Qué
pencaseada le metió en el aire.
We talked about just how strong that weapon can be and why these competitive and top players are opting to pick it up. It's because in the most recent season, all of those assault rifles have had their headshot multipliers change to be 1.5. The pistols, on the other hand, still have a 2.0 headshot multiplier, which means due to the higher rate of fire, if you're able to be accurate and find 1 or 2 headshots like you saw in that situation, you can convert into a really consistent basis.
Bueno, sé dónde andan. Es que ahí está el tema en la pantalla.
Nos subimos a la piedra.
Dale.
Vení, Carapequín.
And Thomas has been he does get tagged up.
Un poquito para allá.
Not good for Thomas.
Espérate porque aquí tiene que subir alguien más.
He's got a lot of builds, but he's
Ahí.
No va a echar un...
He ran out of mats or was just in a bad situation, and Thomas capitalized again. And we've seen this in the first game. We saw him get mid-game.
Los votos.
But this is the first time he's been able to actually get an elim and get
Tirarle
uno. That's going to be really good and really scary for these people. He's able to pick up any minis or floppers.
Se quiere subir con la tirolina.
Someone, however, not in a good spot is Artist.
No creo que pueda.
Down very, very low. Artist going to have to make a play, but there's no play to be made there from him.
Tírale uno.
And the storm was on his back, forcing him to rotate through. You make and also good job blocking
No
down
podía.
whatever
¿Qué se hizo?
get there because you notice not a ton.
Ahí viene.
Ahí viene.
Mira primero ese.
See the total number of builds he has.
Se cayó.
Down, so only about a third of the maximum.
Por eso.
Competitive mode, there is a max cap. 999 metal. 999
No, yo no tengo la silla,
no,
amigo.
you can only carry 500 of each, which ends up equating to 150 total builds. Is now
me clavaron algo en la cara.
What? Y este gordoforro de acá, mira.
Es el papo.
Because the storm is pressing up on the
agáchese
doesn't have the supplies or anything to really get past 10, he's just forced to go, and 10 faking that he had rotated and then turning around. A really good job picking up that elimination. Because now we're going to hop back on board with our current leader, Gamers.
El que le caiga es gay. El que le caiga es gay. El que le caiga es gay.
La de eso como el se desaparecía.
A ver, tira una.
Tírale un poquito más suave. Tírale un poquito más suave. Un poquito más suave.
Ay, me cayó a mí.
Ah. No se sabía eso de ti, pero... No. No.
Pelotudo.
Perdiste la más importante, Kid. No, te cayó otra vez.
Before this by 2 points. Now will definitely be in the lead by at least 3 with that elimination, but that's not going to be enough for him. He wants to be 10, 15 points, however many more he can increase.
Uy, mira parkour.
Following the path of Recon right now.
And trying to do his best to play Fortnite as a platformer. Just hitting all those crash pads, but unfortunately missing the second one. It could end up
Cristiano, amigo.
Now he's going to be forced to burn some of the shields there. Make sure he gets himself back up. You see Rifla moving past him there. That was his match number 3 winner, trying to continue his momentum and rolling forward as now back on board here with Deceptos. Burned 2 of his minis in one of the big pots. Also down to just 62 builds and 2 crash pads.
Se lo cargó, amigo.
3 shots, but then he needs to back off right away because he picked up racks, but then another player was squeezing in towards the end. This is that
El Alex sigue ahí abajo.
We talked about where everyone's piling in, establishing their box on the edge of the
No, este no puedo subir.
half out, but not eliminated, not end up being other players.
Subí.
That's why you see kind of these different apartment buildings kind of being segmented off towards the side.
Abrir paracaídas, Gil.
Ya.
Currently throwing some great shots and in an awesome gatekeeping position.
Ábrete, pendejo.
In a very good spot because there's no one really looking at him in that area. Now,
Pobrecito, amigo.
He wanted to, he will be in an awkward spot, but you see a shark coming through the background, hitting some players, somebody else down below just trying to stave off the pressure, the lobby spray coming through.
Casi. Hacete más para allá.
Milan gonna go down, but he's not looking to get another elimination there. So someone else trying to rotate out as well. A lot of shots going down. Everybody firing. He finds little foot there as he's getting the shot down to him, but I think that elimination is going to go over to Vidil. So Payson not able to capitalize on the second elimination, but at least able to pick up 1.
Tírame uno.
The thought process behind Vidil right there, trying to get around, or Vidil picking up Pinky there, trying to get around and rotate the side using kind of the water and the path that was there, but both the shots and the lobby focus and the fact that the players had already established themselves in the zone meant the late rotate wasn't going to pay off. And now, look at the players are all stacked on top of each other here. We're going to hop on.
¡Hala!
La mano, amigo.
Second placement point has gone over. Now back on board with Ludwig again. Trying to push through and find a second. Rifle who's going to get down. That was the match number 3 winner. So still, plenty of the top players.
Que él es el grappler.
But they could go down if Ludwig's continuing to push this advantage, but he doesn't have HP in his inventory. He's got the floppers, but no.
Sigamos el río, venga.
Not what he wanted from that loot. He was hoping for big shield, chug splashes, any more minis there, but not able to get it. Maybe wonder if Rifle was able to steal some of those away as he decides to disengage and expensive landing near Slick there. The Strokey down there as well. Slender, Vidil, Queasy, Payson down there as you see them panning through. Rifle though in a very good spot to look at anybody crash padding into zone and shot. Continuing to hit here for him.
Mira otro BL.
Through the air, Milan will fall. They're running out of AR ammo though, so this is concerning.
Qué buena
He's not able to pick up any of these eliminations. It's not really worth it.
Yeah, he's desperately looking for the siphon because he doesn't have a big pot to take himself over. This is the half in, half out zone, so he's just trying to keep the players from rotating in. But as you see in the bottom right-hand corner, pretty much everyone has already made it right to the edge of the circle. So once we move into zone number 6...
¿Vamos a jugar a las squads?
Okay.
Una partida de squads y termina el directo. Okay.
Adiós. Adiós ustedes.
La bomber.
Sin un jugo.
Sarranche.
Espera, mira. Sí.
¿Acaso no ven como rapas de guerrero que no puede decirlo como veis de guerrero cada veneno de su decirlo que no da capricho como un tanque chupen blindado? Pedro Zapeta, ¿quién es Pedro Zapeta, muchacho?
Pedro Zapeta.
Ronaldo, ¿qué dijiste ayer?
Ronaldo Nazario.
¿Vos ese mouse de quién es? El Dandre.
¿Ah? ¿Qué dijiste?
Al Isaac.
¿Qué dijiste, Adri?
Ese mouse es el Dandre.
Sí.
Qué huevo.
Ya que se detiene. Porque sigo escuchando la...
¿Saliste a esa?
Dígame, señor.
Ok, Maribel.
¿Acaso no ven como rapas de guerrero que no puede decirlo como más que relajado y viene de todo el estilo que no puede tener propio?
No quiero ver su tráiler.
Porque yo soy como un tanque, yo vengo blindado.
Marquis, locura.
Sabes que si rapeas te van a se vuelve tarado. ¿Qué te pasa a tu bro? Sí, rapeando tanto, dando flow que tú que te pensaste para que coge el ropo. Oh, Dios mío, sabes que tu tiempo se acabó. Tiempo que te pensaste de la preparación, en realidad en cada medida.
¿Cómo dijiste la de trono? ¿Qué vez yo? Dices que la fecha. Cambiar modo de juego.
No.
Trueno, ¿qué me dijiste?
¿Qué vos? Canción. Ah.
Algo la mami chula.
Ah, sí, la de Rain 2.
Ah. Come back on
laser por dentro. Está. Vámonos. Yo soy del Team Capi. Vamos a hacer con vos, amigo.
Sí. No, la de sangrías, la de sangrías.
Sí.
Ah, no. Next, canguro, pues.
Ah.
Sí.
Me concentró. La chucha de tu madre, por cierto. Digo que con esta partida llegamos a la hora y media, así que lo suficiente para cortar el stream y calentar un poquito porque estoy frísimo. ¡Ah! ¡Qué hueva! Mira, temas, me compré un nuevo pico.
Oh, qué bonito. ¿Cómo le queda el pico de esta skin?
¿Bien? Yo me iba a poner ese, pero quería probar cómo se mira este con esta skin. Un macroso.
Pues yo pensaba comprarme ese pico, Adrián, pero no sé. Prefiero esperar una skin de 1200 o 800 otaku, huevos.
Es que a mí me hacen falta picos así como grises.
O por si la otra temporada, por hacer el destino, se puede regalar el pase por pavos, huevos. Entonces yo tengo ahí temitas para la
me vas a conocerme por dentro. Ah, ya pagué la cuenta.
¿Cuál?
Está más. Esa. Ah, va chido, crack. De nada, XD.
Desconectó el control de plan.
Chita malita. ¿Ya escuchaste la canción, Alex?
No. Yo la había escuchado, pero no sabía qué se llamaba.
Rank La Rank 1 está buena.
La contra chocan en mi ventana un domingo a las 10 de la mañana.
Es que cayó mucha gente, me perdona.
Yo no tengo ganas de hacer nada. Más que no cayó nada en la casa de la derecha.
¿Bien?
No.
Bien, cayó gente.
Que no,
aquí estoy escuchando yo gente.
De la derecha, no de la izquierda, gilipollas.
Pero también cayó gente ahí arriba.
No.
Aguanta, te pueden dar un paquete así un rico.
Ah, mío. Los dos tienen su posición.
No, el tema más se murió.
Pues maté uno.
Buena, crack.
¿Con qué? Con retraso.
Crequedísimo. La Hyler Queen.
Hyler Queen, boy.
La Queenona. Son muy malos.
Sonaron.
Ah, no debía nada. ¿Espera tu equipo qué?
Mío, qué rico,
No, amigo.
Nah, qué gilipollas. Se mató un gordo.
Remata el pelotudo que me aventé.
Háblate que viene al equipo. Soy hacker, boys.
Lo escuché la crack.
Avísame.
Dale. Uy, se murió el pendejito. Este pendejito y otro.
Mataron a ese gordo. Vas a conocerme por dentro. Vamos a traer al gordo el Alice. Hay gente aquí más.
Se perdió la tarjeta de aquel. Yo no tengo curas, pero igual.
En esta cosa, guacho.
Arriba las manos.
Se está poniendo.
Amigo.
La maté.
Extorsionarlo.
Ya se murió.
Lo siento, sé Alex, pero no sé por qué se va hasta la chupa.
Pues puya, casi me pegan, bro.
Necesito ese cofre, man.
No te dio curas.
¿No te dio cura?
El cofre no. ¡Ay, ya ve!
El cura.
¿Qué estás tardando?
No. Me asusté.
Qué gilipardo que sos. No, esa pistolita que está haciendo, ¿qué?
Quita como 60 la cabeza, creo yo.
Bueno, aquí dejo el directo porque tengo mucho ping y ya me aburrí. Órale.